Welcome to today's guided practice session. My name's Adam Maness. Get ready to practice. Make sure you're at your instrument. Make sure you can hear me and make sure you can hear yourself because we are going to go to work today. These are guided practice sessions, meaning I'm going to guide you through how to practice what we're practicing today. And what are we practicing today? Well, we are practicing more drop two voicings. I just released this course called Block Chords Made Easy, which, by the way, you can find a link to a pretty hefty discount for our YouTube viewers right here in the chat and in the description if you want to check out the full course. But I just released it. It's all about locked hands and drop two voicings. And I thought it would be fun to apply some drop two voicings over the melody of a song, because that's what the course Block Chords Made Easy really focuses on. It focuses on voicing melodies to jam session standards with locked hands with drop two. So today we're going to do what I consider to be a jam session standard for sure, but it's for, this is like the cats at the jam session that are trying to prove themselves. We're going to be doing drop two over the melody to Giant Steps, to John Coltrane's Giant Steps. Just an unbelievable 20th century masterpiece of a composition in its simplicity, and it's really its function in helping us to get outside of purely functional harmony over one tonal center. The tonal center in Giant Steps, it changes rapidly, and it changes in major thirds, which is kind of an awkward tonal center shift. It's not up a fourth, or it's not anywhere close by either. It's in a really awkward spot, which is why it's used by so many musicians as like a tool to kind of get you out of these like single tonal center vibes. And so you might be working on Giant Steps, but are you working on it in drop two? Maybe, maybe not. Before we get into drop two, though, we want to go to drop two's great grandfather. Not even great grandfather, more like great uncle. Like it's drop two's nerdy great uncle called four-way close. I'm getting the family metaphors crisscrossed here. So here we have the melody to Giant Steps is our top note in this example. And we have a way of voicing in only the right hand called four-way close. Now, this might be something that you could voice, like four horns or four strings in as well. It's where you take rootless voicings for the most part, and you get in the shell, and then whatever melody you have is on top, and then you have like kind of some meaty parts of the chord, like the shell and some pretty notes underneath. So here, the melody to Giant Steps, that's that first phrase, right? That's that first three bars. So we have here on the B major 7, right? We have A sharp, which is the 7, C sharp, which is the 9, D sharp, which is the 3rd, and F sharp, which is the melody, right? So that's the four-way close. Now, before we get to drop two, we're going to go through these four-way close so you can see how we then form our drop two chords, starting with four-way close and then dropping that 2, if you know what I'm saying. So we have our B major 7 here, our D7, right? This is like a D7, like a 4-note D7 chord, root chord, but the melody note is the root, which is on top. So from the bottom up, we have F sharp, A, C, and D, right? The 3rd, the 5th, the 7th, and then the root, which is on top, and the melody. For our G major 7, right? We have the 3rd is the melody, and then we have the 5th, the 7th, and the root there. For our B flat, so the melody on the B flat 7 chord is the 13, so we know that we can do B flat 13. So we have A flat, which is the 7th, C, which is the 9th, D, which is the 3rd, and the 13th on top. And then E flat at the end of the phrase. We're going to have an E flat major 9 chord here. So the melody note is the 5th. And below we always really want the shell in whatever chord we're playing, right? So we have the shell, which is the 7th and the 3rd, or the 3rd and the 7th. We have here represented with the 7th D and the 3rd G. And we have the 9th thrown in there because it's gorgeous. Then we have our 2-5 to G major. So notice here that we're changing tonalities down major thirds, right? So B major, then the 5 of G major, then the 5 of E flat major, right? And then we're going to do the same thing, but starting on G major. So our 2-5 going to G major, right? In our right hand, our four-way close, we have the melody note is the 9, which is hip, and then we have our shell, 3rd C, 7 G, and then that D in there I put in there because I love it. It's the 11th. To our D7, which is like a D9 chord here. Our G major 9 with our fifth on top, right? We have the fifth, and from the bottom up, seventh, ninth, and third. Right? These are just some really important chord tones, all grouped together, four-way close. And we do the same thing, but down a major third. It's the exact same as the first four bars, right? And now we have that where we're going to take some 2 5s up in major thirds. Our F minor 7 is just like a block chord, four-way close, with the ninth on top. That's the melody. And from the bottom up, we have the third, fifth, and seventh. And then our B flat 7, flat 9, we just have a A flat diminished chord, right? An A flat diminished seventh chord. A flat, B, D, and F. And then an E flat major 9 with that 5 on top. All four-way close. 7, 9, 3, 5. Right? And then, here's the beauty, is we just take this up in major thirds. And I'm just adding roots here in my left hand so you can hear how it sounds in context. Right? For our last... Oh, sorry, that should be C sharp minor 11. A little chart error there. Not C minor 11, C sharp minor 11. Come on, Adam. So again, going... So we could just hear what this sounds like. Very simple, right? A little square, especially on giant steps. But the reason why we want to practice this four-way close is because it's easy to see, first of all. And then it's easy to form some drop two voicings off of these four-way close voicings. So I just want to practice these. So you just take this with just your right hand. I'm going to play a little bit of bass for you. Let's see if we can get these going. We'll go very slowly here. Just take some time here getting four-way close. And you could use these as a guide. You can come up with your own four-way close voicings if you know the melody and the tune of giant steps. But this is, I think, a great starting point. So let's practice this. The good thing about giant steps, too, is it's all half notes. So if we take it slow, we can do this fairly easily, just kind of reading through it. And again, just notice the patterns here, right? Like these 2 5s in the second half of the tune are the same thing, the same voicings, just up in major thirds. Yeah? Woo. And then C sharp here instead of C minor. My bad there. Let's try it. You try it. I'll play the bass. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. Let's do it again from the top. One more time. Four-way close here. Giant steps. You got it. is some four-way close, some simple four-note voicings that we can place under the melody of giant steps. And if you could do this over giant steps, you can do this pretty much on any tune just like this. And we get these very simple voicings. And they're just fine. And if you're like doing some stride in your left hand and you need some big, thick voicings, four-way close is great. But that is not what we're here for today. We wanted to set these four-way close voicings up so that we can get somewhere else. That somewhere else are our drop two voicings. Now we're going to use pretty much the same exact note combinations that we did with four-way close. I tweaked a couple because there was some options that opened up to us when we dropped the two. What does drop two means? It means taking that four-way close voicing and the second voice from the top, we drop an octave and we put it in the left hand. So a four-note, really tight right hand voicing system becomes a four-note, more spread, more open, two-handed voicing system. We do three notes in our right hand and one note in our left. So this, our B major 7, right, which was A sharp from the bottom up, A sharp, D sharp, A sharp, C sharp, D sharp, F sharp on top, now becomes D sharp down here, then A sharp, C sharp, and F sharp here, right? Our D7, now this is the first one that I changed, because if we were to do it, remember our D7 before was F sharp, A, C, and D. So if we drop that C, we would get C, F sharp, A, and D, natural. I switched that A with the B to give us a nice 13 sound, just because it sounds great. In the four-way close, it gives us too much of a cluster up here, I think, so it didn't sound great. But once we drop the 2, we have now more room up top here. Let's change that A to a B, and we get this sweet, sick little voicing here. So these first 2 chords, I don't know why I went sweet and sick, but I did, are that. And then our G major 7, right? Again, we were here, right? And we dropped that G, which was the second from the top in four-way close, to drop 2. Check out the B flat 13. Come on, right? It was this, which is like a pretty standard, a bog standard B flat 13 voicing, A flat, C, D, G. Drop that D down an octave and put it in the left hand. Just gorgeous. So that first phrase was in four-way close. And now in drop 2, the same notes pretty much sound like this. Right? You know what I mean? Isn't that great? Check out the A minor 7, that 11, right? It was this voicing, which is beautiful on its own, but the drop 2 version, holy smokes. So nice. What's great about drop 2 is because it's more spread out, it actually leaves a little more room for that melody. Woo. Now, starting there on the F minor 7, right? We did have this block chord here, which was A flat, C, E flat, G. That was the four-way close version. If we drop 2, right, drop the second note from the top, the E flat, we get that. And then remember we had our dominant chords here were just diminished voicings. And so now A flat, B, D, F becomes D, A flat, B, F, right? So the 2 5s sound like this. Man. Isn't that lovely? And then again, C sharp minor 11, not C. It's just my bad right there. It's all my bad. Gorgeous. So the whole thing sounds like this. Something like that. Now what's cool here on drop 2, because we have a little bit more room to work with our left hand, right? Because the left hand is just playing one note at a time. We can do things like on these 2 5 1s, right? Like so on our F minor 7. Instead of just E flat, we could do like a sharp 7 or a major 7, like E, E flat, D, right? As a motion. Or we can kind of pivot off of that E flat. We have room to really move around with our left hand because we're just playing one note at a time. So it could be like these 2 5s could be like adding a little movement there, right? Major 7, minor 7, and then to that third of the dominant chord. So great. There's so many great options. Drop 2 really frees us up to play some cool sounds that we normally wouldn't think of as like options for playing under melodies. It's terrific. Just terrific. So, okay, I had my go at it. How about you have your go at some drop 2? Let's take it super slow. Let's take it like ballad tempo, right? Let's just kind of go through it. These are quarter notes. So let's really treat it as a ballad. Let's just get these voicings very slowly in our hands. 2, 3. Just take your time here if you're reading along. Yeah? Let's try it. 1, 2, 3, and. A minor 7, D7. We're just going really, really slowly here. Just getting these voicings together. Let's do another chorus, eh? Let's do another one. Just ballad tempo. Aren't those nice? Lovely. One more chorus, this tempo. Let's really try to lock these in. Ballad tempo. So great, isn't it? So great. I love these so much. It's so much fun. And you can see how going from 4-way close into drop 2 is like the key for really seeing things clearly. And by the way, there's no rule about what kind of chord it has to be. It can be any 4 notes, but you can start off 4-way close and then drop that second note from the top down an octave, put it in the left hand, and you have these beautiful voicings. This is the thing. Drop 2 is the thing. And by the way, so we get asked all the time here on YouTube as we're doing these guided practice sessions, I want to go deeper into what you're covering. Where can I go deeper? So we do have a whole course called Block Chords Made Easy that I just released last week. We'll put a link here. You can save $30 on it today for our YouTube GPSers. And so I think we'll put a link in the chat. There'll be a link in the description if you would like to follow that link and save $30 on what's been a super popular course. So there's that. Okay, so we did our ballad version. We did our four-way close. We've done our ballad version. You can see like it's kind of tricky, the drop two. It's not the easiest thing to play. We have to put in time practicing it. So let's practice it some more. I need some fizzy water because I got to hydrate my fingies. Let's do it. Let's do a little bit of a swinger. We're still going to keep it nice and easy. But let's try it right here. So this would be, again, it doesn't move around a lot, this melody. So it's not too terrible here. Again, put your own rhythm on it too. That's kind of the best part. Woo! So nice. There it is. You try. A 1, 2, 3, and. How about another one? Oh, they did A minor 7, it's so hip. Yeah. One more here at this tempo. One more. You got it. Put your own rhythm to this. Phrase this like a melody. Nice. Okay. Let's do one more tempo. Let's do we won't do the real tempo. We won't do, it's just a little too fast, as you can see plainly, to do super clean. But let's do it nice and let's do it at a little bit of a real clip. Even more realer. That's good. Yeah, it's good. I like it. Right here. Let's try it here. This is actually, you could perform it at this tempo and it would be totally legit. Let's try it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. tempo. One more chorus. Here we go. You know, you got a B major 9. You gotta harp it up there. Gotta harp it up. Thank you so much for your practice today. Like I said, we have a brand new course at Open Studio. If you want to go deeper on this, called Block Chords Made Easy, we have a link right here in the chat to save $30 today only for our YouTube GPSers. Thank you so much for everybody who's given me feedback about the course. It's been super popular, and we're super thrilled with the response. So thanks very much. And yeah, thank you, YouTube. This has been really, really fun. I hope you find these tutorials and GPSs as much fun as I do, because I love to practice this stuff, and I love to practice it with you. So until next time, happy practicing.